I'm on a bit of a trail. The reason I'm going up this trail is that this is a trail up a kind of like a mountain, and partially up this trail there are these rock slides that have agates in them. Well, not rock slides. It is basically just, there's a bunch of like weathered rock that has kind of like just piles that are sitting on the side of the mountain. As you can see, that's where I'm heading up to. And in those slides, in that rock, some of those rocks contain agate. And so I'm gonna try and find some agates. Just to show you an example. This is lower down, but you can see the better stuff I think is in like a red basalt. But you can see this is like a weathered basalt. It's just on the side of the trail. You can see the agate fills in like the cracks, and some of the basalt has voids in it from when it formed. And what happens is the agate seeps in there and fills it up, and that's what I'm looking for. The ones with the voids are the bigger ones, and that's farther up. And I'll try and show you guys if I find the spot. I was told about it by some local collectors, and I'll see if I can find it and show you some agates, maybe, hopefully. So I'm just continuing up this trail, and as I'm going, picking up just bits and pieces of agate. This is a bit of a quartz cluster with some agate banding in the middle. It's just heavily eroded and beaten up because this side was face up on the trail. So it's just been stepped on by like so many people and just beaten up, but still kind of cool to see. There is, I think the best spots are still farther up, so I'm just going to keep going. I'm farther up the trail, and I was just looking at all these slides because I was told it was these basalt slides that your agates and your quartz would be in. I just looked to my side, and can you see that right in the middle? That bit of whiter material. Let's see, is it any good? It's like a thin seam. Oh yeah, check that out. You got banding. Sick. Nice little agate. Cool little find. Oh, that's like the first kind of nodule I found, so beggars can't be choosers. Found a couple more interesting pieces. Both of these pieces you can see are very like angular and kind of wonky, which kind of tells me, and you can kind of see here, there's a bit of matrix, like basalt matrix still attached to the nodule. That kind of tells me that these nodules formed in like a brecciated or like a fractured matrix, like fractured basalt basically. They filled in the cracks and then solidified, and so you get like a brecciated basalt where the filling is the chalcedony and agate and stuff. You can see with this one, those pockets have botryoidal formations, which is cool. And they're all kind of angular, so maybe there was also some other crystals and stuff in there that melted out like calcite. But yeah, interesting material. I don't get to see agate that often back at home, so it's cool to find. And then this one, actually, you can see it has some really nice faint banding on it. Bet that would polish up nicely. I am up on this just side of the mountain, and I just found this in the pile of basalt. Just interesting piece. Some type of other mineral that has been weathered away, maybe calcite. I'm thinking that's why these shapes are like that. There was calcite in there, and the chalcedony formed around with the calcite, and then later on the calcite has been weathered away. But that looks like an interesting piece of agate that might come home with me. I'm just sitting up on this slope, as you can see. See down there, and then back up there. And I'm just starting to dig through, kind of using a rock and just sifting through and pulling out agate bits. This is a nice piece. It's got some really nice banding. It's faint. The colors aren't super bold on this one, but there's lots and lots of banding, as you can see. It'll look even better wet, actually. Yeah, those bands pop even more. Look at that. Then what was really cool was I did not know you could and I didn't know you could find these here, but I found a bit of carnelian. Check this guy out. Look at that. It's a nice little bit of carnelian with, on top of that, a little quartz bucket. Very cool. And yeah, you can see there's a bunch of other stuff. There's a small lumpy nodule and just a tiny bit of basalt. And just lots of cool stuff. So I'm just gonna keep kind of scraping through this, maybe shift over to another spot, scrape through there, and just go from there. See if I can find anything cool. Do you guys see the agate? Just past my knee. Let's see if it's any good. It's hard filming and go. Oh, I think it's good. Oh yeah. Holy cow, check that out. That is a sick agate. I think that'll polish up real nice. Look at that, guys. Holy cow. That makes this trip worth it. Hiking up all the way. This single little specimen. It's got some matrix, which is really cool. I kind of would like that. I like my pieces with a bit of matrix. Why aren't you focusing, camera? Look at that. Holy cow. It's banded and then it's got like white opal in the middle. That is sick. That is a sick agate. Wow. Finding more stuff. Little bits. This pocket has some like boccioidal features and stuff, so it's interesting. But little bits of banded agate, seams and stuff. Whoop. Lost that one somewhere. But as I was moving up the slope, this guy literally fell out from underneath me. Big chunky piece of quartz with agate banding around the side. Very cool. Wish he'd been a little more whole and less busted, but I feel like that could still polish up nicely. I've just been scraping away and pulling out lots and lots of bits. Got some banded bits, you got full bits, got bits with quartz on them, like quartz points, quartz crystals, though they're a bit beaten up. But yeah, there's some interesting stuff here, for sure. And it's just all in these piles of rock that are on the side of the mountain. You just kind of scrape through them and look for your rocks. I'm still finding lots of stuff, including some pieces with quartz on them. So some of the agate pieces don't fully fill out, and so some of them have quartz on the inside, so they're more they're like an agate geode kind of thing. Whereas some of the agates, they do fill all the way with the quartz, and you can see this one as an example of that. It's a larger agate nodule. It's got some nice banding on the outside, but then it's got some nice yellowish, kind of probably iron stained. Some people would call this citrine, but I don't think that's citrine. It's just some iron stained quartz. Some yellowish iron stained quartz, but still a cool little nodule. And then yeah, you got your pieces. This piece actually is kind of, I might be imagining it, but I want to say it's slightly faintly purple. And I know I've seen guys find bits of amethyst on this here, like I've been shown examples. And apparently there's a cave at the top of this mountain that has some amethyst crystals at the top of the roof of the cave. But yeah, I'm gonna just keep scraping away for a little bit more. Hopefully find a couple more nice large pieces, and then I'll probably get out of here for today. I hope to plan to come back here with a friend and do a second trip and scrape around with him. He's a local and he told me about this place, so I do want to come here with him because he wants to show me around to spots and stuff like that. And it's also just the more the merrier. I enjoy rock hounding with people, but this day definitely has not been a wash. I just pulled this piece out from higher up. I've just been moving up. Check out those botryoidal formations. That's the biggest piece of kind of botryoidal calcidity I found today. Very nice. There's slight microfractures and everything, but it's still a very cool specimen. I got a nodule here. You can see the giant pocket filled with agate. Who knows, I might actually take that with me. It's a bit busted up, as you can see. It's pretty fractured. Took a big tumble down the hill probably and cracked right wide open. But that's biggest one I've seen in Matrix, so that might be coming home with me. So got a little quartz pocket in the middle actually, but it's got some nice banding. I have just been scraping away at like the slides, just looking for stuff. Still got way more in my pocket, but here's a huge handful of calcidity and like quartzy stuff and all that fun stuff. So there's some botryoidal stuff, there's banded stuff, there's all kinds of stuff. I'll sort through it a little more in depth later on, and we'll see what I take and we'll see what I'll leave behind. I thought I'd quickly show you guys some of my favorite finds from the first trip I did to that volcano with the agates. This is a partial nodule that has agate on the outside and then quartz on the inside, but the quartz is a bit like yellow, probably from like iron oxidization inclusions. But then there's this thin slight ring around some of the quartz, so it grew quartz, then a little bit of agate, and then quartz again, which is kind of cool. I just remember I was sitting on the basalt, like the basalt slide, and then I moved up, and where I was sitting I moved stuff out of the way, and there it was. Now this piece, it's small, but it's the only piece of like carnelian-esque agate I found on this trip. You can see the dark orange there, and there's a pocket of crystals, but only piece of carnelian I found. Then there was this guy. Found this guy literally just lying on the top, and this was like one of my first better finds. You can see it has some quite thin banding, but then it's also got some great little opal in there, like white opal, white common opal, and it's just very lovely. And it's still on a bit of matrix, which is nice. I like that about this specimen. You can see it's just half of kind of like a blobby nodule. I bet this guy, once I get my polishing, my flat lap set up, this guy will be one of the first ones to be polished. Well, that's not true. I'll polish a couple crummier pieces just to test out the material and see how it polishes, and then I'll do the better ones once I figure out the how well this material polishes. Believe this was another one that I found on the first day. It just, the bands aren't super like bright, but there are many of them, and there's just that, like, it's just so many bands. It's so cool. I was quite happy that I got to go to this place. And here's another one. Here's a nodule, and it's got some bands, but then it's also got some opal in it. I bet this one will look pretty cool if I slice it that way, but I'll have to get my saw running again. And then last but not least, there were some agates there that were more, there were geodes, agate geodes with crystalline pockets, and some of them, most of the crystals were quite small, but this was just a tiny little fragment of a crystal plate, but it had some decent sized quartz crystals on it. Slightly smoky quartz crystals, so that was kind of cool to see. But this is the first video of this place. There will be a second video out I want to kind of leave that video until I actually have the saw running and my polishing flat lap ready, because I want to polish a couple pieces I found on my second trip with my friend, because I found some really nice bigger pieces on the second trip. So please do stay tuned for that, but I will be warning you guys that it's probably going to be a couple months before that video ever comes out, or maybe even during the winter time. It just all depends on when I have time to set up in my basement, because right now I'm just very busy, and so I haven't had time to set up my stuff in my basement apartment that got renovated this year. So I'm kind of, behind on the lapidary front, so to say. Enough rambling. We have gotten to the end of this video. If you like this type of stuff, if you like rockhounding related videos, or if you're interested in history, I also do arrowhead hunting and flint knapping videos once in a while. So if those are your cups of tea and you haven't already subscribed, please do consider subscribing. Please also hit the like button on this video. It helps get it out to more people, and I want to share these awesome finds and this awesome collecting trip with as many people as possible. And I just want to thank you guys for watching this video, and I want to wish you guys a good day.